All right, and welcome into the BettingPros College Football Show. It is Conference Championship Week and Week 15 of the college football season. Today, we take a first look at the slate and make our early picks and line movement predictions. I'm your host, Seth Woolcock, coming off perhaps the greatest weekend of college football I can remember in quite some time. From Friday until Saturday night, I was captivated by the pageantry that this game brings, and I am joined by our resident CFB handicapper at BettingPros, Scott Bogman. Boggs, if you would have told me back in week 0 that both of our teams would be playing in their conference title games, I'd be willing to write off this season as a success. What do you think?
I mean, yes, absolutely, for sure. And your boys, Penn State, they got a chance to come through and be the number one seed still.
I know.
Which is kind of incredible to think about the path that they've taken. And, you know, just a beautiful Saturday. What a great day to be alive here, Seth. I mean, you know, Texas gets back to the SEC title for the first time ever. We gave A&M a 13-year head start to get there and still made it there before them. So go on the road and beat them. Our boys, the Steelers, went on the road to beat Cincinnati, gave us the escalator of sadness. So it's a great day to be alive and breathing air. So I am all for it. We have some great conference championships to preview here. And last week was just, chaos every single week. And my picks weren't that great. But my process, I feel like, was still good because should have got that K-State win. They made so many mistakes. They had a 95% post-game win expectancy. I should have had that one. Barely got South Carolina, but we did get South Carolina. Thank you, Lenora Sellers. What a great performance there. And the BYU-Houston game should have gone under. We got, a pick down to the 3. We got an onside kick return.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was frustrating to not get my under on that game. But process is right. Got conference championships coming up. Bowl games are about to be set here. Army-Navy next week. We've got all kinds of stuff coming here. So it is we're hitting peak college football. It is some great stuff happening right now.
And people said this new era of college football that rivalries wouldn't be a thing, that there's too many transfers, nobody hated another school. I mean, there is hate in the air, and I love every single second of it. We have an absolutely stacked program for y'all on tap today. Week 14 reaction plus an early handicap of all the games on the conference championship slate. Thank you to everyone who rode with us during the regular season, the highs, the lows, everything in between. We appreciate it. And if you're still hanging out with us, the easiest way to support us is like this video if you enjoy this type of content, plus subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. And before we jump in, I did want to announce the winner of the signed Aaron Jones Vikings jersey giveaway, and it's Amber Taylor. Please get in touch with our customer support agents at the email address of mailbag@fantasypros.com with your mailing address and your proof of your subscription to the Betting Pros YouTube channel, and we'll get that shipped right out to you. Again, the winner is Amber Taylor. Congratulations, Amber. And if you want a chance to win a signed Stephon Diggs Texans jersey for free, courtesy of our friends over at pristineauction.com, all you have to do is subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel right now. Drop a comment below on any of our videos, and that's it. We'll be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new videos are up and to claim your prize. Just one of the many cool things we do here at Betting Pros is a monthly giveaway, so hopefully you guys can wear or put a Stephon Diggs jersey on your wall. Excited for that. Also, excited to break down rivalry week because it was everything we loved about this game culminated into one singular weekend. Georgia survives Tech 44-42 in 8 overtimes. Tennessee takes down Vandy 36-23, likely stamping their trip to the college football playoffs. Michigan upsets Ohio State. They did it. 13.
We said it would be the funniest thing in the world, but even I was ready to lay 20.5. I mean, that was purely shocking. And now there's all these Ryan Day rumors and everything. Yeah. Man, what a game.
I mean, I wish, listen, I came in last week on this very episode of our show, and I said, I think there might be some value on Michigan. That's too many points, and it was. So. The over didn't come through for me, but I wish I would have stayed packed with Michigan, but it was really hard to back them after what we've seen all season.
Well, we know everyone will be taking Michigan next year. There will be no tickets on Ohio State.
Yes. And it was followed by a great brawl as well. One for the ages. Pepper spray going around. People getting trampled. South Carolina down south. They beat Clemson 17-14. Arizona State stomps the Wildcats 49-7.
I told you.
I know. That was a good call on you, me and Terrell. We had a little sprinkle on that Wildcats money line, but we did get the over in that game. Syracuse dashes Miami's playoff hopes 42-38. Bama wins the Iron Bowl 28-14. Notre Dame beats USC 49-35, and the Longhorns hook 'em, take down A&M 17-7. What a weekend, my friend.
Oh, what a weekend. It was awesome. I mean, I still can't believe Michigan beat Ohio State. And not only did Michigan beat Ohio State, but when Syracuse beat Miami, they asked Kyle McCord about it, and he said, everything comes full circle, which I thought was just the perfect answer. The whole room started cracking up. You know what I mean? Honestly, it was really on the back of Will Howard here. And the offensive line was awful for Ohio State. And that's, that was a mismatch. But, we saw Ohio State handle business against Indiana with a banged-up offensive line. So I thought, okay, well, Indiana's defensive line had been great for most of the season. Mikael Kamara is going to go in the draft pretty high. And but there's just too many of those guys on the line from Michigan. And Will Howard really had some bad turnovers in that game as well.
Bad game plan, too, man. Like they just kept
Get
running
the
right
ball
up
to
the middle.
Jeremiah Smith more. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, Ryan Day has a Michigan problem. I don't think he's going to get fired. I know a lot of people are talking about how he may get fired. I don't think that's going to happen, but he does. He needs to readjust and figure it out because, this is an issue. And if you lose one more time, I heard Bud Elliott talking about it. He said, look, the first 3 losses, okay, Michigan's a really good team. This loss, you don't have an excuse for. They're not a good team. They've been
Jim
beat up and
Harbaugh?
down. Yeah, no Jim Harbaugh. A lot of their players are gone. They've been beat by decent teams this year. And the only representative of the 2021 recruiting class to beat Michigan from that Ohio State class is Quinn Ewers with Texas. So, yeah, that was it was one of the more shocking upsets that I've ever seen. Just 20-point favorites and to lose straight up to your most hated rival, and then with all of the stuff after the game. And a lot has been made about the announcers being disgusted and all that stuff. And look, I just don't think you can have it both ways. You can't promote this game with hatred and show all the highlights of the fights and then be disgusted by them when they happen after the game. So pick a lane,
Agreed.
But I think that the rivalries are great for college football. The fighting, not so much. They probably need to do a little something about that because, look, I think it's just competition now, but somebody's going to eventually get hurt pretty bad. And we need to put a cap on it before that stuff happens. So,
right.
Because they're throwing real fists out there. They're not like the rumbling where everybody's jumping and talking smack to each other, kind of pushing and shoving fights. These are brawls. So I do think that we need to quell that a little bit, but I don't know. I like the passion. So I like seeing it. I like seeing that these guys have a lot of emotion and are playing with a lot of it as well. So I enjoyed everything about Rivalry Week. I think it's exactly what we wanted, and it's a lot of fun heading into conference championship. And then we're seeing a lot of lobbying to get into this 12-team playoff, a lot of resume posting, which has been fun as well. So the pageantry of college football is absolutely unmatched.
Looking at what remains of the limited futures market, Travis Hunter is now minus 10,000 to win the Heisman. Oregon is also the national championship favorite at plus 350. Do these odds make sense to you, Boggs? Any value you're seeing out there? Are you one of those on the internet who is still banging the drum for Ashton Genty to be the Heisman favorite? I think he's like 20-1 or something to win now.
No, that's over. Unless he scores 10 touchdowns in the Mountain West Conference Championship game, that ain't happening. So minus 10,000, Vegas puts up buildings for a reason. Travis Hunter's winning the award, so there's no use. Look, the national title can go a bunch of different ways still.
Penn State 10-1.
Dude, I tell you what, Oregon might be the most disrespected number 1 team ever. Nobody talks about them. Now, look, they haven't played the hardest schedule in the country, so there's not a lot of huge games in here that were challenging them. We talked about them a lot when they played Ohio State, right? But they just keep rolling people, and no one is really discussing them a lot. It's always about these resumes and the losses and all that, and they're just sitting here 12-0 going into the Big Ten championship, and the Power Four conferences can all be won by first-timers, which is insane to me. Texas is a first-timer. Arizona State in the Big 12 for the first year. Oregon in the Big 10 for the first year. SMU in the ACC for the first year. So all of these conferences can be won by first-year teams, which is kind of crazy to think about. And I honestly think that they will be won by all first teams. So we'll get into that here.
Yes.
But, I mean, college football, man, this is the stories write themselves, but it is a lot of fun to follow along. And for those of you that have been with us the whole year, it is thank you. And we are ready to go for the bowls here.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and open up the conference title game starting on Friday night in Jacksonville, Alabama, where the Jacksonville State Gamecocks are 4-point favorites over the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers in the Conference USA Championship game. Jacksonville State is 8-4 straight up, 6-6 ATS under Rich Rod. This comes courtesy of the third best rushing offense in the entire nation. WKU, they have kept the air raid alive once again this season. They rank 21st in passing offense. They're also 8-4 straight up, 7-5 ATS. Western Kentucky won this game earlier this year on their home turf, 19-17, but Jacksonville State did beat them last year at home, 20-17. Where do you see this 4-point line heading, if anywhere, Bogman?
Yeah, this line is steady right now at -4. It hasn't really moved since I've seen it, and a lot of that is because the Jacksonville State quarterback got hurt last week against Western Kentucky. This is one of those weird, we saw it last week, we're going to see it again this week games. And Western Kentucky just won. They were at home. Tyler Huff left with that injury. Jacksonville State had an 81% win expectancy after that game, though. So it was way more shaded in Jacksonville State's side here. And the backup quarterback, Logan Smothers, we have a long track record with him starting for this team. He started for them last season. Big-time recruit as well. I think he has enough experience. I think Jacksonville State at home should be the favorite. I do think they're the better overall team here. So for me, I like Jacksonville State. I don't know how much it's going to move, though, because of this quarterback injury. So I think it's going to hold steady there. I think we can wait, but the money is flowing in on Jacksonville State right now, and it's flowing in towards the under, likely because for two reasons. Number one, the quarterback went down, and number two, we just saw this game play, and it was 19-17. So both these teams can score. We know that. They're kind of built around their offenses and what they want to do. I just think Jacksonville State holds the ball a lot longer at home, and I think they get this win.
Okay. In West Point, New York, the 24th-ranked Army Black Knights are 4-point home dogs to the Tulane Green Wave. Tulane, they did just lose to Memphis, but they remain 7-1 in conference play, 9-3 ATS as well. They lost to K-State earlier this season and Oklahoma, but they did beat Navy 35-0 last month. Quarterback Darian Mensah has led this team to the 6th-ranked scoring offense in the nation to match their 15th-ranked scoring defense. Army, meanwhile, they are undefeated in AAC play, and they're 7-3-1 against the spread this season, but their best win, we've already talked about this season, probably came against North Texas. Still, the Black Knights, they own the top rushing team in the country and the 9th-ranked total defense. Boggs, is there any value on the board as it currently stands, or could we maybe see some with line movement later in the week?
I think we already have some some value here. So my initial thought when I saw this is, man, I don't know, Tulane beat up on Navy, right? And we've kind of made that comparison already earlier this season. But if you dig a little deeper, you look at the losses for Tulane, right? They've been to, as you said, K-State, Oklahoma, Memphis. They're giving up 211 yards on average rushing in those games. Oh, wow. In their 9 wins, they've held teams to 95.2 yards rushing. So the big difference here is if Tulane lets a team get physical with them and push them around, they get beat, right? And you go and you look at that Navy game, but let's not forget Blake Horvath got hurt early in that game. I believe he played like 15 snaps in that game. And so they went to the backup, and everything kind of fell apart for them. And we just saw Tulane get pushed around by Memphis. They ran down their throat. They had a playoff spot on the line in that game. You know, it's possible. It was possible for them to win the AAC and go to the tourney as the top five, as the top group of 5 team. If Boise State were to, lose in the Mountain West or have lost last week. So with all that on the line, they choked and let Memphis run down their throat. Man, I'm supporting the troops here. I think Army is better than Navy. More on that we'll see next week, of course. But I think the way that this Army team imposes their will, unless they're playing in Notre Dame or a P4 school in a good P4 school, I think they run right down their opponent's throats. I think they do that to Tulane in this game. So I'm going to take Army, and I don't hate a money line.
Plus 160 on the money line over at Bet365. So not a terrible number there for the troops, man.
Yeah, I like it. And I don't know. Again, I'm not sure how much this line is going to move. The money right now is on Tulane, so I see a spot where you could get Army at plus 5.5 right now.
Ooh,
so maybe
really?
you don't like the money line. That's what I see on this. I don't know if this is completely updated, but I mean, I think it's going to move towards Tulane a little bit here. So if it does, let's just wait. Let's see how long. Maybe we can get a little more backing for the troops and make this a little closer one. But, yeah, I've not been on Army when they've been in tough spots this year. This is a tough spot, and I am on Army. So we'll see if it pays off for me this time, because it has when I've gone against Army, it has paid off for me. So hopefully this time it does as well.
We'll round out the Friday night slate in Boise, Idaho, where the 19th-ranked Boise State Broncos are 3.5-point home favorites over the 19th-ranked UNLV Rebels. Heisman hopeful Ashton Jeanty has put Boise State back on the map for really the first time since the Kellen Moore era. Boise State is 6-6 ATS, but their only straight-up loss this season came to the top-ranked Oregon team, where they only lost by 3 points, 34-37. To no surprise, the Broncos, they are 6th in rushing and 3rd in scoring offense. They do have the 65th ranked total defense. Amid early season controversy, though, UNLV has been pretty good this season. 10-2 straight up, 7-5 ATS. They have the 4th best rushing offense in the nation as well, and the 49th ranked total defense. Boggs, Boise has won 8 in a row against the Rebs, including 29-24 this season in Las Vegas. Is there value, though, on them to do it again against a team that they're very ranked evenly against?
Yeah, this is, you just look at PFF grades. UNLV, 17th overall. Boise State, 15 overall. We have a matchup where the PFF grades have tied 2 of these teams that we'll get into in a little bit as well. So, obviously, in all these conference championships, these lines aren't going to be huge. They're fairly obvious here. And we haven't had those big, like last year when Florida State lost their quarterback, we had a big line and all that. We're not getting those this year. No major injuries. But this is another game where the team that lost had a post-game win expectancy over 50%. It was 66.7 for UNLV. But for me, you mentioned the history of this game, the environment, outdoors on the Smurf turf at Boise State. We're showing the advantage towards Boise State here, and that is my initial thought as well. I'm going to go with the Broncos. I'm going to lay the points. I mean, they had more yards. They led time of possession. They had 6 sacks, and I also think that if Boise State gets down, I think I trust Maddox Madsen a little bit more than Malik Williams to play comeback in the passing game should they get down. So for me, I just think there's too many outs to Boise State winning this game. We're showing an advantage there. I'm going to roll with it.
Do we have enough public betting data yet to know if this line's going to move at all, Boggs?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty heavily bet towards Boise State. So if you want to take them, I would take them fairly early.
Okay. On Saturday, the Ohio Bobcats are 3-point dogs against the Miami, Ohio Redhawks in the MAC championship game hosted at Ford Field in Detroit Rock City. Ohio is back in the title game for the 2nd straight season. largely due to their 14th ranked rushing offense and 13th ranked total defense. Tim Albin's group's only losses this season has come to Syracuse in Week 1, Kentucky in Week 4, and Miami, Ohio in Week 8. They're 8-4 ATS, best in the conference. Miami's offense has been pretty mid, ranking 93rd in total offense. And also, they're under Brett Gabbert, younger brother of Blaine Gabbert. But their defense has been ranking similar to Ohio's. They're 14th in total defense. They have won 8 of the last 9 games after starting off the season 0-3, losing to the likes of Northwestern, Cincy, Notre Dame. Boggs, where's the money coming in at, and where are you putting yours? Personally, I think there's some value on the Bobcats, but I could be biased because I did meet some Ohio fans a few years ago at a Penn State game, and they were awesome. They were passing me fireball shots, some shooters in the stadium back and forth. Great, like, I've never liked people from Ohio more than that day, so I'm rolling Bobcats here. What about you, my friend?
Well, look, Miami, that's Miami, Ohio. They're still in Ohio, so we still have some Ohio people. They're very nice, absolutely. So
except the ones in Columbus, we hate them. But
okay,
no offense.
Yeah,
no offense.
I'm not gonna say we. I don't hate the Ohio State fans. I have a lot of friends that are Ohio State fans. But this is a tight one. We saw Miami win the first one. They were at home. This is a neutral site. They have one more loss, but I mean, their losses, 3 of their 4 were to FBS schools, and same thing for Ohio though. 2 of their 3 were to Power 4 schools. It was Northwestern, Notre Dame, and Cincy for Miami, and then Syracuse and Kentucky for Ohio. So Ohio plays great defense, but Brett Gabbert is a veteran. He found a way to win last time. And if Ohio gets down, I just don't think they have the offense to play comeback again. Ohio hasn't lost a game since the first game, and Miami is on that 7-game win streak as well. So this is such a good, tight MAC championship race here. It's going to be a lot of fun. I trust Brett Gabbert. He's played in like 98 college games or whatever it is.
He's old. He might be my age, honestly. He's pushing it.
I mean, honestly, yeah. He is. He's going to need an AARP card when he goes to try out for the NFL here. So, I like the Red Hawks a little bit in this game. I don't think I'm betting this one with confidence because it is such an even matchup. But I think I would lay the points here. We do show a slight advantage towards Ohio, and slightly towards the under. But, I mean, we're talking razor thin in our projections as well. So this might be a game where you just, you wake up and let's maybe bet a player prop on it and not on this game. You know what I mean? So this one is just going to be too tight for me to really like, I think, unless the line shifts one way or the other.
Do we think it shifts? Is there any money coming in on this as of now?
It's a lot of cash is going to Miami. So lots of cash. So it might open up a little bit and give your Ohio Bobcats a little bit more of a value later in the week. We'll see which way that one swings. But right now, I would have to take the Red Hawks, but without a ton of confidence. This is one of my lower ones of the week for sure.
In Jerry's world, we have the Big 12 championship game where the 12th ranked Arizona State Sun Devils are 2.5-point favorites over the 16th ranked Iowa State Cyclones. Led by quarterback Sam Leavitt and running back Cam Scatteraboo, Arizona State has won and covered in 5 straight to get to the conference best 10-2 ATS record. They beat down Arizona on the road 49-7 for the Territorial Cup, and they are now ranked 30th in total offense, 37th in total defense as well. Iowa State, they have rebounded from back-to-back losses to Texas Tech and Kansas with 3 straight wins and covers against the likes of Cincy, Utah, and K-State. Quarterback Rocco Becht has been dealing as of late. He is leading this team to the 41st total offense in the nation to go along with their 31st ranked total defense. However, they've been banged up at linebacker all season long. They just lost another starter over the weekend, Boggs. Do you think that catches up with Iowa State here?
I mean, I think it's more than just the linebacker injury that catches up with the Iowa State here. And this is another one of those games where you look at it, I think Arizona State is playing their best football of the year right now when it counts, and I don't think Iowa State is. And that is basically what it's going to boil down to. For me, I mentioned Kansas State had a 95% post-game win expectancy against Iowa State last week. The week before, Utah, who lost, had an 85% post-game win expectancy, even when they beat Cincy by 17. Cincy had a 62% post-game win expectancy. The last game that you go back to where Iowa State was supposed to win, and I'm putting up air quotes, right?
Sure.
Because post-game win expectancy doesn't really matter. It shows you the story of the game and who should have won. But, I mean, Iowa State keeps finding a way to win. But Week 7 was the last time where Iowa State had a over 50% post-game win expectancy. So, Rocco Becht, who has been good, was 13 for 35 last week. He was not good in that game against K-State. Now, Arizona State did have a big injury if this guy is going to miss. Wide receiver Jordan Tyson left this game. So if he is out, it's going to play much tighter. But if he's up, this isn't a bad injury, and he's in, I like the Devils to win big. I think they are playing their best football. They're pushing people around with the offensive line right now. They're controlling the clock and, using that run game. And Sam Leavitt is just not making the big mistakes that he was earlier in the year. So I think that ASU definitely should be favored in this game. And right now, cash is on their side pretty favorably. So this one might open up towards the Sun Devils. Jordan Tyson is a big piece, though. If you want to wait and see what's going on with him to bet this game, I don't blame you, because without him stretching the field, it could limit Arizona State's offense a little bit. So, and Iowa State keeps finding a way to snake a win in all of these games where they should be losing. So they definitely know how to win games in tight situations. So I don't want to count Iowa State out by any stretch. They are a very good team. I just think ASU is rolling right now, so I'm going to take the Sun Devils.
Okay, and you're telling us, hey, maybe we should be taking Arizona State early if we do want the best value, but we're still taking a gamble without their star wide receiver being 100% healthy. That's kind of what you're risking here, really.
If Tyson doesn't play, this is a different offense because he has really been a difference maker down the stretch here.
And before we continue, I did want to remind everybody to join our college football podcast group. You can sync your picks or use the quick pick feature on the BettingPros sports betting app to get a chance to win some free prizes. Elevate your betting strategy and join the conversation today at bettingpros.com/college. All eyes will be on Atlanta at 4 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday, where the second-ranked Texas Longhorns are now 2.5-point favorites over the fifth-ranked Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia does not rank inside the top 30 in total offense or total defense and was absolutely exposed last week against Haynes King and Tech. They're now 3-9 ATS, and they've failed to cover in 4 of the last 5 games. However, they did beat Texas 30-15 back in October. Texas 7-5 ATS this season, coming off one of their best wins. I don't know if just this season, but really I would say in the 2020s of program history, 17-7 winning in College Station. The Longhorns are 14th in total offense, 3rd in total defense, and they finally have gotten this run game going. We talked about it going into last week, and Travion Wisner been absolutely dynamic for them, 186 rushing yards on 33 carries a week ago. Boggs, I really like what your Longhorns have been doing overall. The defense looking much improved, and I'm liking how they're starting to mix in Arch Manning's mobility off the bench as well. But can we really bet against Kirby Smart again? That is really the question mark for me.
Yeah, my Georgia buddy was like, your boy Wisner's going to have to get in that ice bath. And I'm like, well, everybody for Georgia needs an ice bath. They just played 8 overtimes, man. So both these teams in nice physical matchups before this one. So coming in a little bit beat up and tired for sure. But I think I was honestly surprised that Texas was the favorite in this game after the first matchup because what has changed? Well, what has changed? And to me, it's that I think Texas defense is playing better than anyone in the country right now. And the run game, the ability to run, has really opened up this offense
Wisner was not supposed to be the guy at all, right? It
was C.J. Baxter.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt. The guy behind him got hurt. Down to Wisner, right? And this is the depth of a team like Texas. And the guys that they're getting in here is just insane. You have 2 guys that can start a quarterback here with Ewers and Arch Manning. You don't have that in a lot of programs. So I just think the defense is playing better. They're gonna have to stay more vertical in this game because Texas likes to do a lot of screen passes, a lot of play action, a lot of weird motion stuff. that got them beat into the dirt against Georgia last time. Georgia was too physical at the point of attack, beat the tackles who, everyone says this is the best offensive line in the country. They did not play like it against Georgia at all. So they have to step up for sure. Our left tackle got hurt, so we'll see. The backup played great. We're going to see if Calvin Banks' replacement here can have another great week.
Projected top 10 pick in Banks.
Yeah, Banks is awesome. So he did not have his worst game was against Georgia though. So I'm not sure if he's going to be ready to go. This is for a bye in the playoffs. There's a lot on the line. I'm not going to pick against Texas, but what I will say is I like the under in this game. Texas defense playing better than anybody else. Quinn Ewers and the offense did not put up a good fight against this defense in Georgia last time they played. So the under is going to be my favorite play here right now. It is 49.5. BP, we're showing a slight edge towards the over here. I get it, but cash is coming in on Georgia, and tickets are coming in on Georgia right now. The money is split. It's a little bit shaded towards the over. So I think the total stays, but I think this line is going to shrink to about 1 before we get there. So if you want to take Texas, I would wait.
Okay.
We'll see what happens with the total, but I think it's going to stay. But my favorite play, just because the offense is a little bit banged up for Texas and didn't fare well last time, and the defense is playing lights out right now. I mean, Texas A&M did not score an offensive point. They had a pick 6 in that game. That's it. So that was at home for Texas A&M and the biggest matchup in the 2020s for them, and they got smoked. So I think Texas defense is playing too good. Their offense is banged up. The under is my play for sure.
There will be about a 30-minute window in the primetime slate where all eyes will be on the Sun Belt Championship game. The Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns, they are 4-point home favorites against the Marshall Thundering Herd. Marshall is a Sun Belt best 10-2 ATS this season, largely because they have a great three-headed backfield averaging over 200 rushing yards per game. Louisiana, meanwhile, they're 18th in total offense, 42nd in total defense. They show clear advantages on both sides of the ball. Boggs, the Ragin' Cajuns are 2-0 all-time against Marshall. Do they make it 3 in a row here and win their 4th ever Sun Belt title?
Yeah, I think so. Offense versus defense in this game. Marshall having a top 15 scoring defense. Louisiana with a top 15 scoring offense. The Cajuns' top QB, Ben Woolridge, went down a few weeks back. They lost that game, but they've won the 2 since, and I still lean towards the offense here. The 2 losses this season for the Cajuns have been to Tulane and South Alabama, where Woolridge got hurt. Marshall's won 6 straight, but have looked very shaky the last 2 weeks and are a little more lopsided in terms of being one-sided or more defensive team for sure. I think it's hilarious that these teams are tied. These are the teams that are tied, both tied for 33rd in PFF's overall team grade. Louisiana needs to control the clock. They need to convert third downs. That's a big thing that hasn't been happening with Fields, the backup quarterback here. 7 for 25 the last 2 weeks. I won't have money on this because it is such a tight race, but BP showing the advantage to Louisiana, I tend to agree to lean on the offense. So I'm going to be taking the Cajuns here.
And do you think there will be enough money coming in on this game that we're going to see a lot of line movement?
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I do actually, because there already has been line movement. It looks like 95% cash is on the Cajuns. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So
no
get him
one
now.
Trusting Marshall. Yeah. So get him early because it's already. I think I had it on my sheet at 4.5, and it's already to 5. So yeah, I had it on my sheet at 4, and it's already moved a point. So yeah, go ahead and take Louisiana early if you want them.
The ACC Championship will get underway at 8 p.m. in Charlotte, North Carolina. The 8th-ranked SMU Mustangs, they are 2.5-point favorites against the 18th-ranked Clemson Tigers. Clemson, 5-7 ATS this season. They have failed to cover in 5 out of the last 6 games, including a 17-14 loss last week to the South Carolina Gamecocks. QB Cade Klubnik and Phil Maffa, their running back, really the engines of this team, leading them to the 8th-ranked total offense. Defense not as good this season. SMU, 8-4 ATS, and are about as balanced as a team can get. 21st in total offense, 28th in total defense. They are coming off convincing wins over Cal and UVA. where they outscored both those teams a combined 71-13. Boggs, is 2.5 points the best number we'll see for Rhett Lashley's team here?
I think so. I mean, tickets and cash are split about right down the middle on this game right now. And while I don't like Clemson and what they've done this year, I definitely undersold them against South Carolina. They made that a really close game, and
still shouldn't have been favored though.
Yeah, no, they shouldn't have been, and they're not in this game. So they've lost 3 straight against the spread here. Clemson has, and SMU's not impervious to a slip. They nearly lost that game against Duke earlier this year, and
yeah.
You know, their blemish was BYU, which at the time we thought was a horrible loss, right?
You were writing them off bad after that one.
I was, man. Like, I couldn't believe they made that switch at quarterback so fast against Nevada was supposed to be bad this year, and they are still not good. But, you know, they made that game close, and Preston Stone got benched. They went to Jennings. Then they started Stone again, and they lost to BYU, and BYU is supposed to be the worst team in the Big 12, right? And it looked bad, and I was like, what is happening to SMU? Well, now we know BYU is one of the better teams in the Big 12, so that loss doesn't look nearly as bad as it did to start. And that Duke game, Jennings turned the ball over 5 times in that game, and they still won. So even though the offense draws the eyes for SMU, the defense, I like them to get to Klubnik and harass him. They've had their 11th in sacks. They've had 37 this year. I think they're going to keep them at bay like they did, like South Carolina did last week. And Kevin Jennings not turning the ball over is the big key in this game. Clemson is 11th in turnovers forced. So since the Mustangs are undefeated in games that Jennings starts, I'm going to take SMU. But it's going to be a tough game. Clemson is still dangerous because this is it. I don't think Clemson gets in with the resume, especially with the loss here. So I feel like they have to win the ACC title to get into the tournament here. So we're going to see their best effort. It should be a close game, but I still like the Ponies. Give me the Mustangs.
Do we know where the money's coming in here at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's split right down the middle.
Okay.
So I don't know if we're going to get something. We're getting a little more on the under than the over in this game, but tickets and cash right now are split as of Monday morning straight down the middle.
Let's round out the program with the Big Ten championship game in Lucas Oil Stadium. The top-ranked Oregon Ducks are coming into Indianapolis as a 3.5-point favorite over the third-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. Oregon has a perfect record and is looking to win the title in their first year in the conference. Dylan Gabriel, Jordan James, Tez Johnson have led this offense to the 21st ranked total offense, and also they have the 7th ranked total defense. I know the internet, there's a lot of mixed opinions on how good this Oregon defense is. I still think they're really good, honestly. The Nittany Lions have backed their way in to this game after Ohio State lost to Michigan. Thank you, Ohio State, for doing something right for me once in my life. But they only lost to the Buckeyes. That was their only loss this season. That was a game they could have easily won as well, that I would argue. This offense, led by quarterback Drew Aller, tight end Tyler Warren, and 2 of the best running backs in the nation with Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen. They are ranked 19th in total offense. Their defense includes game wreckers like Abdul Carter, who's a projected top 10 pick, and Denai Dennis Sutton. They are ranked 5th in total defense. Boggs, this is the most complete Penn State team I've seen since all the way back in that 2016 season when we won the Big Ten championship. Is there a number we could see that would actually give us value on them? Both the Nittany Lions and the Ducks are 6-6 ATS this season.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of already showing a slight shade towards Penn State. BP is in this. So, but to me, it's going to be which quarterback makes the big play downfield, because both these quarterbacks are somewhat conservative in plays downfield.
Oh, yeah.
The defenses match up well. I'm trying to see something that would have me automatically take Oregon. I want to lean towards Oregon. Again, I think they're one of the more disrespected number 1 teams that's been number 1 for so long.
Yeah.
They just haven't played many big matchups, which makes them scary going into this game. And I do think Penn State can win this. Maybe this week when I'm digging a little bit deeper, I'll find something that will give me a lean towards the side. But right now, I like the over. I think both teams are going to be able to score a little bit. The money's pouring in so far on the under. So if you like the over, I think you can sit on it and wait as well. So for me right now, I'm just kind of waiting to see which way the line moves, because right now it is heavy in Oregon's favorite.
I figured
for
for
money, and it's actually has flipped. It was way on the under last night. I think somebody placed a big bet on the over here because now it's 91% cash on the over. So
wow.
Maybe if you want the over, you need to get on it a little bit sooner than I initially thought here. So, but yeah, I don't like the side here. If it's going to open up and it's going to get to 5 more points than that for Oregon, then I'm definitely going to take Penn State. But yeah, right now the over is my favorite play. I don't have a really good feel for this game. Oregon hasn't been challenged that much this year, right? Boise State gave them a scare. Ohio State gave them a scare. After that, they beat everybody else into the dirt. So I do think they're a really good team. I think they deserve this ranking, but they have to prove it. And to keep your bye and, to stick with it, you have to prove it and beat a good Penn State team. And I do expect them to do that, but I don't know if it's going to be by more than a field goal. So if we're going to get more than that, I think I'm going to be taking your Nittany Lions here.
I think what decides this game is how the Penn State defensive line holds up against this Oregon offensive line, because the one time we saw Gabriel struggle was in Wisconsin, right, where they were getting after him a little bit. And if Abdul Carter denied Dennis Sutton and the boys can get after him, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm curious to see.
It's going to be a good game.
Yeah. I'm blessed. I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for everyone who rides with us each and every single week as well. That's going to do it for us today on the Betting Pros College Football Show. Thank you for watching. We will be back later in the week with Terrell for our picks and predictions show. Until then, please like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. And download the Betting Pros app and sync your sportsbooks today. For Scott Bogman, I am Seth Woolcock. Take care, y'all.